There's a storage lot about 30 minutes outside of town where unsold cars go to wait. Row after row of them. Window stickers still on.
Only settles on a vehicle that hasn't turned a wheel in months. And here's what'll wind you up. While those sit there, you can't get the car you actually want. Walk into a dealership this week and ask for a gas-powered family SUV ready to drive off the lot. You might be told there's a wait. Could be next quarter, could be next model year. Meanwhile, that same dealer has electric vehicles he can't move with thousands of dollars hanging off the sticker. That's not bad luck. That's not the market being strange. That is a regulation written into law doing exactly what it was always going to do. 12 vehicles today, every one of them either discontinued, quietly discounted into the ground, or losing money so fast the trade won't touch them. And stay to the end, because there's one question you need to ask at any dealership that most buyers never think of. It's the difference between the best deal on the lot and the most expensive mistake you'll ever make. Same car, same price. Two completely different outcomes. I don't sell cars. No manufacturer pays me a penny. No badge loyalty. Nobody's buying me lunch to say nice things about anybody. Do me a favor before we start. Hit subscribe. It's free, and this is the kind of thing that stops a friend from signing a 72-month note on a Saturday morning he'll regret by Monday. One thing to be straight about first. In the US, we're luckier than most markets. Cox Automotive and other firms publish days to turn figures, how long models sit on lots before selling. The NADA tracks transaction prices versus MSRP. The EPA publishes range data. Automotive press like Car and Driver, Motor Trend, and Edmunds does independent testing. I've used all of that here. Where I have a hard published number, I'll say so. Whereas what dealers and mechanics talk about at auction or in the shop, I'll flag it as exactly that. You can tell the difference, and you deserve to. Number 12, the Volkswagen ID4. Let's start here because it's the most destructive one on the list, and because a lot of people who own one will tell you it's a perfectly decent car. They're not wrong. The ID.4 is a competent family SUV, rides well, interior is fine, plenty of space. VW built a car that does the job. The problem isn't the car, it's the math behind it. VW needs to hit electric sales targets tied to California's ZEV mandate, which now extends to 17 states. Miss the numbers, and there are compliance costs. So the discounts go on. We're talking $7,000, $10,000, $12,000 off MSRP in some markets. That's not a haggle, that's a manufacturer with a deadline. And here's the thing mechanics started noticing. When discounts of that size appear on new cars, every used one on the market gets repriced overnight. The owner who paid full price 8 months ago takes the loss. He didn't do anything wrong. He just bought at the wrong moment in someone else's compliance problem. If you're buying used, that discount is real money and you should take it. Just don't confuse getting a deal with the car holding value. Number 11, the Fisker Ocean. This one isn't a prediction. It's already over. Fisker filed for bankruptcy in June 2024. The Ocean, a genuinely attractive-looking electric SUV, had owners stranded with no dealer network, no over-the-air updates, no parts pipeline, and eventually, no company answering the phone. Mechanics started flagging this one early, software bugs that couldn't be fixed, service appointments that couldn't be booked, a car that looked modern and connected, but was functionally becoming an orphan in real time. What happened to owners is the clearest example on this list of what I keep saying. The worst thing that can happen to a car isn't a mechanical failure. It's the manufacturer walking away while you're still holding the keys. If you find one cheap on the used market right now, and you will find them very cheap, understand exactly what you're buying. There's no franchise dealer. There's no 1-800 number. A startup that burned through cash faster than its batteries is not coming back. Some independent shops are learning the platform. Find one before you need one, not after. Number 10, the Chevrolet Bolt EV, first generation. Fair is fair. The Bolt was genuinely important. Affordable electric range before almost anybody else got there. GM deserves credit for that. But here's what mechanics started seeing in volume. The battery recall. GM recalled virtually every first generation Bolt ever sold due to fire risk in the LG Chem battery cells. The fix took years to roll out fully. Owners were told not to charge above 90%, not to park in garages overnight, and to charge only when someone was home. If you owned one through that, you know how that felt. And the residual values reflected it. The further issue is this. GM then discontinued the Bolt EV in late 2023, and then, after an outcry, announced it was bringing a new version back. That kind of back and forth creates uncertainty in the used market. Buyers get nervous. Nervous buyers mean soft prices. The honest side. The new Bolt, when it arrives, will be a different animal. The old one, properly fixed under recall, is mechanically sound. But if you're buying a used first-gen Bolt, verify the recall work was completed. Not assumed. Verified on the VIN. Number 9, the Lordstown Endurance. Another one that's finished, not a prediction. Lordstown Motors went bankrupt in 2023. The Endurance, a full-size electric pickup aimed at commercial fleets, never made it to consumer hands in any real volume. The trucks that did get delivered have no support infrastructure. Mechanics who've seen them describe a nightmare scenario. Parts that don't exist in any catalog, software with no one to update it, and a company whose assets were sold off at auction. The reason it's on this list isn't the numbers, almost nobody bought one. It's the lesson it teaches about evaluating any new EV brand. How much cash does this company actually have? Is there a dealer network? Or just a website? What happens to my car if this brand is gone in 3 years? Those aren't unfair questions. They're the only questions. Number 8, the Cadillac Lyriq. Let me be careful here because the Lyriq is a genuinely beautiful car. Design team got it right. Interior is stunning. Cadillac wanted this to be their statement that American luxury could do electric. The problem mechanics started talking about is the gap between what buyers expected and what they got, specifically on charging speeds and real-world range in cold climates. The official EPA figures look good. The Minnesota and January figures look different. The bigger issue is the residual story. Cadillac was discounting Lyriqs aggressively through 2024 and into 2025. $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 off MSRP on a car that launched at luxury price points. Early buyers got caught the same way they always do when manufacturer discounting starts. The person who paid full price in month 3 watches the sticker drop in month 9. For a used buyer, those discounts mean opportunity, real opportunity. A well-sorted Lyriq with GM's dealer network behind it is not the same risk as a Fisker or a Lordstown. But price the depreciation before you fall in love with the interior. Number 7, the Rivian R1T. Early production. Here's one where mechanics who saw the early trucks are very specific about which year matters. Rivian's first production R1T trucks, 2022 and some 2023, had issues that the company itself acknowledged. Software that was slow and buggy. Fit and finish problems that would embarrass a $30,000 truck, let alone a $70,000 one. A charge port that caused problems in cold weather. Rivian has improved substantially since then. The 2024 and 2025 trucks are meaningfully better. The company is still standing, has Amazon's backing, and has a service network that, while not a traditional dealer grid, is growing. But here's the mechanics concern. Early Rivians are now entering the used market, and buyers who see Rivian R1T and think they're getting the current truck may be getting a first-year example with a repair history that isn't pretty. As for the full service history, check the software version, find out what the OTA update record looks like. Early adopter risk is real, and it shows up in the shop. All right, that's 6 cars. 6 vehicles that mechanics across the country have quietly stopped recommending, and the reasons behind each one are bigger than the cars themselves. Compliance deadlines, bankrupt brands, first-year mistakes that owners paid for. You now know how to read all of it. But here's the thing. The 6 we haven't covered yet, those are the ones with the real money at stake. We're talking about a car from a luxury brand where early buyers lost more in 12 months than most people put down on a house. A pickup truck that mechanics describe as the most misleading deal on any lot right now. And the number 1 car on this list The one where the manufacturer didn't just underprice it, didn't just discontinue it. They changed the entire identity of the brand and left owners holding something nobody's quite sure what to do with. That's part 2. It's already filmed. It goes up, date. Insert here. Before you go, if this was useful, hit subscribe. It's free, it takes 2 seconds, and part 2 will come straight to you the moment it's live. No algorithms. No hunting for it. And drop a comment below. Which of these 6 surprised you most? I read everyone. Part 2. Don't miss it.